thicker buttermilk.
Okay, now we got a new one going.
And when I bought this one, all I could get was fat-free.
Okay. There goes that refrigerator door fussing at you again.
Yeah, lift it open.
I know.
You should do that without, I do without thinking.
Mm-hmm. And then...
Okay, I'm going to get my Crisco.
Yep.
I'd rather use Crisco than oil.
Yeah. But you do... And it's not shortening, it's Crisco.
Yeah.
Because we don't do shortening. We do Crisco.
Well, it says
She'll be back in a minute.
all vegetable shortening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now then. Okay.
And you do it all by hand. You don't use spoons and knives. And
Yeah.
I have tried. I mean,
Yeah.
if I was going to make a pie crust, I would.
You want me to get that for you? There you go. Got it.
And I did scrub my hands good before I could. Goodness, that's hard.
Oh, because it's been in the refrigerator?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You just said we don't use spoons or knives or nothing.
Well, this forced me to use a knife to cut out some Crisco.
Yeah, just a little fistful right there.
Get over there. I'll have a little bit more than that because I want them to be fluffy. I hope they'll be fluffy.
They're going to be yummy because you make the best biscuits.
But it's so long since I've made biscuits. I told you about Jimmy Lee when they were coming to visit the last time. I said, can't wait to get there and get some of those biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, Jimmy, I don't make biscuits anymore. And he said, you will when I get there.
There you go, Jimmy. Yeah, came all the way to Texas all the way from Texas for Memaw's biscuits.
Yeah. But he didn't get any.
He didn't get any.
Didn't cook any.
Oh.
Well, they only stayed overnight.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the time I felt like they didn't enjoy their visit because I had the guy was out there sealing, putting that paneling in the utility room. Everything was just, I thought they were going to be. They came a day before I thought they would be here. And I didn't have everything in order.
Yeah, that was the day they came in the motorhome. They were just traveling, I think.
Well, they've been to Lisa's, down in Florida. She don't live in Florida anymore.
Yeah.
And she's moved to Texas, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, and she's one of the ones, while you were in the hospital, that had posted something on Facebook, too.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Something about, commenting on either mine or Tony's or Steve's, whoever posted. But anyway, she was just hoping you did well.
Yeah. Did you ever see a post on Donna's Thanksgiving dinner?
No, ma'am.
I just wondered if she did that. Because Jimmy was telling me, I talked to him
Oh,
about
Donna Kay. Yes, she did. She had pictures and everything, and that just went wonderful.
Good, good, good.
Yeah. And it was mostly her and her son. I can never remember his name.
Well, one of them's Matthew.
Matthew, that's the one. And they got everything together. I want to say, I don't know if Jimmy just carved the turkey or if he cooked the turkey. But they had a nice little Thanksgiving dinner.
Good, good, good.
I'll have to show you the pictures later.
Okay. Because Jimmy was telling me a few days before Thanksgiving he was going to go down to the deli and order dinner for him and Mary. And I didn't say I thought Donna Kay was doing it. because I thought she was probably wanting it to be a surprise.
Yeah. Yeah. And Mary looked good. And, you know, it's got some pictures of her.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she's got a lot of physical therapy ahead of her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mary's just had her knees replaced, or a knee. Did she do both?
Just one.
Just one.
As far as I know, it was just one. That's all he talked about.
All right, now, here we go. This is the part I cannot do. You can sort of mix it.
Yeah, and I just squeeze it through my fingers.
Mm-hmm.
When I feel good sized piece of shortening, I just squeeze it a little bit harder. Get it all worked in.
And keep pulling up just a little bit of flour at a time.
Well, you know, I don't do much flour yet.
Yeah.
I'm just enough to make a good batter. But then you've got to, now see that how it keeps sticking to my hand? And then I start
Here we go.
working the flour in like that, and make it sort of a firm dough. And I can remember it used to bother me for people to watch me make biscuits with my hand, because I thought they felt like I wasn't being clean.
Oh, goodness.
And
Only
then
way to make biscuits.
it's reached the point that it doesn't bother me anymore.
Yeah. Well, it's about time. But, see, I put all my ingredients in a bowl, and I mix it with my hand. But I've got enough in there that I can make a dough ball altogether. And then I just flour my hands and make out my biscuit. And my biscuits taste good, but most of the time they will just about fall apart when you try to split one open.
Yeah, well, that's sort of a good thing.
Yeah, but it's hard to eat it with jelly on it.
All right. Yeah, now
Okay.
I got to get... And I remember Eileen telling me that when she and Hip first married, she was making biscuits, and they had an older neighbor, Mr. Chandler. And one morning he was there when she was making biscuits, and this on her hands. She just took it and did it off in the trash can. He said, "Daughter, you shouldn't do that. You can save that much. Don't waste that dough."
Yeah. There you go. And who was it said that to her?
Mr. Chandler, that lived next door to him.
And he called her daughter. Okay.
That was not unusual
Okay.
for older people to call younger women daughter.
Okay.
Something, whether they were related or not.
See, and you can learn things from all kinds of people.
Yep. She said that's sort of what taught me to start saving.
Yeah. And this used to tickle me too, is the way you could take the one hand and clean those fingers with your thumb.
Well, you just got to take your thumb and
Rake it down your fingers.
And it just gets it off.
Yeah.
And sometimes I sort of get in a hurry and I do it this way. And sometimes I just put it under a running faucet that's got good warm water.
Yeah. Yeah. And when we were kids, you would make biscuits and you would squeeze off a little piece when you got done and let us eat that raw biscuit dough.
And then I would cook you a little biscuit.
Little baby biscuits.
And
yeah.
Brian one time said, "Memaw, remember when you used to make us those silly little biscuits?" Yes, I remember that. But
Yeah.
I never thought of them as, thinking of them as silly little biscuits.
Well, I don't think he thought you were being silly. I think he thought that kids are silly. But yeah, this is going to be so good.
Now, yeah, I've already greased the pan.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like just greasing a pan like this,
Mm-hmm.
most of the time in things that I did and would need a little this to grease a pan or something,
Mm-hmm.
I just stick my fingers in there and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, and Debbie and I were just talking, she wasn't correcting me in any way. But she said, Pam, Angie and me use a paper towel and go down in there and get our.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been
Yep.
doing that lately. It's a lot less messy.
Yeah. I learned to do that in home ec in high school.
Oh, now they never showed me that in home ec,
Yeah.
but I did take home ec.
Yeah. Okay. Flour your fingers.
One time the home ec class was doing a dinner for football players.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody that could was staying to help with that. Of course, I wasn't supposed to do that. I want you to know I just made a decision on my own that no, I'm going to do this. So I went, Uncle Judd was the bus driver. I went out to the bus and asked him to tell Mom and Daddy what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sometime later, as we were doing the meal and whatever, but I had to go up the hall for something, and there come my daddy. And I thought, oh no. But he wasn't mad at me. He was on his way to work, and he came to be sure that's where I was.
Okay.
And I didn't really get in trouble.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was probably just making sure you were okay because you didn't come home on the bus.
Yeah. Well, that's why I sent him a message by Uncle Judd.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I guess he went down there and told him. I don't know, but he might have decided I ain't delivering messages for that girl.
Could be.
She better keep her own self out of trouble here.
Yeah.
He didn't have children. He didn't know how to.
Yeah.
All right. All right. And then you rub you some flour in your hands. Dust them off. Pull your dough up. Now, I think that's firm enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right there. If you wouldn't want, if you get it too firm, they're too hard when they cook.
Mm-hmm.
They're not fluffy.
Yep.
Okay. These are not going to be fluffy.
You don't think so?
The dough feels too firm. But we'll see.
Yep, that will be good.
And then when you get them, put your rough side of your dough ball down.
Mm-hmm.
Take your fingers and keep pushing it under until it gets kind of smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And then now my mama could do this so fast. And she'd go,
Mm-hmm.
And then her biscuits would come out nice and smooth. But
Yeah.
I have to work with mine a little bit.
Yep. Yep. Now, tell me again what you were telling me something about Mama and Papa. Mama looked outside and here came Papa and Uncle Judd, I think it was, staggering.
Oh,
And her mama was there? Or his mama was there?
no, her mother was
Her mother.
there. This was cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
In the fall, after all the crops were gathered and everything, Daddy and wasn't Uncle Judd. He drove the school bus, so he had some extra money. But Frank Allison was Jane's daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And Frank lived with them after their mother died young.
Mm-hmm.
But he and Frank were working over at the lumber yard. In we called it Etna, but the proper word is Etna,
Mm-hmm.
E-T-N-A. And it was getting late, And we saw them coming. We lived right there on the hill, you know, where you turn to go down to James's house now.
Uh-huh.
Anyway.
In that little house at the end of the driveway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was 2 rooms then. I'll tell you this. This is history, too.
Okay.
It was 2 rooms. Mom and Daddy had 6 children. And we all lived in 2 rooms.
Wow. 2 rooms, not 2 bedrooms.
That is right. 2 rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And we even had to have a bed in the kitchen.
Okay.
And, you know, I can remember when you were trying to get an apartment,
Mm-hmm.
the first time when you had Brian and Malia,
Uh-huh.
they wouldn't let you have one because you couldn't have a boy and a girl living in the same room.
Yep.
Sleeping in the same room.
Yep. At over a certain age, and they still won't let you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But anyway, we not only slept in the same room, we slept in the same bed.
Yep.
We slept anywhere we could hang a toe.
There you go.
But anyway, to get back to the story of Dad and Frank Allison, we saw them coming over the hill, and they were sort of swaying back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
At first, we thought they were just playing, but they were swaying because they couldn't walk straight. They had gotten cold sometime during the day. They got cold, and on the way home, they thought they'd warm up a little bit by drinking.
Yeah, got them some liquid heat.
Yep. And, but anyway, Mama just crawled all over Daddy. And her mother said, Belle, you leave him alone. Now's not the time for you to be fussing at him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he'd been working.
Well, he had.
You know.
And it scared me to death. I cried and I cried. I was a little girl. I don't know how old I was.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I was a kid. And I was probably 7 or 8 years old because that's where we lived when Charles was born. And I'm 9 years older than him. But anyway, he got me in his lap and he felt in his pockets, and every little penny he could find he gave me.
Oh.
Trying to get me to stop crying. And I probably gave it back to him.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm just very, very slow when I do this. I didn't used to be quite so slow. Because if you remember when I still worked,
Mm-hmm.
I would get up and make biscuits in the morning
Mm-hmm.
before I went, so
Yep.
y'all could have biscuits.
Yeah. If you didn't have time and Daddy was coming in, you'd have the biscuits made out, and Daddy'd put them in the oven when he got home, and they'd be ready. You made biscuits or cornbread, usually biscuits, every night for supper.
Yep.
Yep.
We usually had cornbread because we usually had vegetables.
Mm-hmm. And I know sometimes when we'd get up in the mornings to go to school. You not only had biscuits, they had sausage in them already.
Mm-hmm.
You'd fry up sausage and make us sausage biscuits. I handed my kids a Pop-Tart.
Yeah.
Instant oatmeal, whatever.
The bread thing came from Grandma Teal. She couldn't stand it when I didn't make y'all eat bread.
Oh my goodness.
You had to have bread every meal.
And now I seldom have bread. I might have biscuits or toast or something for breakfast sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But we seldom have bread with our meal. That's just one of the things that we cut out.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm okay
Mm-hmm.
without bread.
Yeah.
I can eat just about vegetables or whatever without it.
It's not a staple. You don't have to have bread.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and, you know, way back then it might have been something started just to make sure you were full and not hungry.
I think it was just a habit
Mm-hmm.
with people back then. You had to have bread every meal. Now,
Mm-hmm.
Charles won't eat a meal without bread.
Yeah.
And he's not really supposed to have it, you know, with his heart problems.
Mm-hmm.
But he declares it won't hurt him.
Right.
Because one of the days, you know, while I was in the hospital, now Steve was there just about every morning that I was in.
Yeah.
And he would order my meals for me.
Mm-hmm.
But he ordered one day, and I told him, and I would like a biscuit. And they said, she can't have biscuits, because they had me on a cardiac diet.
Yeah.
And I didn't have any heart problems that I'm aware of. Oh, that's an ugly biscuit right there. Let's do him
You
over.
You want to do him again? Okay.
Yeah, let's do him over. I didn't get him smooth at all.
Well, and I think once they're cooked and sort of spread out, they're gonna.
They will.
And honestly, I don't care what they look like.
Well, now I'd like them to be pretty.
Yeah.
I like them to be pretty. Smooth.
Let's see that little. Getting to the end of that dough ball. Just a little bit left down there. Yeah, but you just don't do it often anymore. You got to practice.
Absolutely. Now I'm going to make one of those silly little biscuits Brian talked about.
Go make a little silly baby biscuit. Oh, did we call them baby biscuits or kid biscuits or something?
I
can't
think
remember.
I just called them little biscuits.
Little biscuits?
Yeah. Because you were little kids.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Miss Steele, you're not doing a very good job on smoothing these things down.
They look good.
And sometimes I will, you know, get my wax paper and sprinkle my flour on it, rolling pin, and roll them out and cut them out.
Mm-hmm.
And then they do look a lot prettier.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good size, but let's see what we can do with all these little pieces.
Yeah. And so that's when I make biscuits,
Mm-hmm.
I make cat head biscuits. I always make mine big, because why eat 2 biscuits when you can just eat one? You know, if you eat one biscuit,
Then that
it's not as fattening. Yeah, and it doesn't sound as bad as I had 2 biscuits, so you just make one big one.
Yeah.
There you go.
And I believe that's enough.
Yep, I think you did good.
Saving the little things.
Yep, there you go. And I think those look like they're ready to go in the oven, Mama. What do you think?
They are.
All right. I'm going to shut this off for a minute.
And the oven's already preheated at 425 degrees.
Okay.
Or 450 if you're in a hurry. Just have to watch them a little closer so you don't let them burn.
Okay. All righty.